How are you doing?
Good. How are you, David?
I'm very good. Who is your guest? Did I meet you guys at We Live?
You met me at We Live. My wife wasn't there though.
What's your name?
Tekela.
Akila?
Tekela.
Pakila. Oh, Tekela. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a beautiful name.
It's spelled different.
Thank you.
Well, how do you spell tequila?
Tekela.
Oh, and Elise said she loves your earrings. I don't know if you heard her.
Oh, thank you. She can see me? No.
Yeah, she just walked out, but she could see you.
Oh.
Okay, so Brandon Jackson and Tekela Jackson as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And so cool. I remember you signed up for Enterprise at We Live
Right. Yep.
on the spot, which was about, how long ago was that? 6 months ago?
March, April, May,
It
June.
was in March.
Yep.
So 4 or 5 months. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I remember. I was just telling Max, my situation because I was part of the elite for We Live.
The mastermind?
Yeah, the mastermind. Yep. So we were walking and talking, and I was telling him kind of, what I've been dealing with with our business, and he was like, we came out because we were walking behind, behind everything. We came out and he saw you and Josh and Elise walking, and he's like, "Hey, DealMachine."
Oh, I remember that.
And then that was me. I walked up and talked to you and Josh, and then after that, I met up with Josh later and signed up, and it's been an adventure ever since.
Yeah. Well, what was going on that you were telling Max about in your business? What was the struggle?
Well, so we do a lot of creative finance and subject to, contract for deed, and we have 28 properties, but we're struggling to find another way of advertising and getting more properties because most of our deals have came from word of mouth. We haven't really any major marketing. So, I knew that if we actually did purposely market, then it would just, take our business to another level. Mm-hmm. So that was what I was telling Max as I'm trying to find some other way to advertise and market and to scale the business more. And that's where you guys came in place.
So how did you start out if you were only word of mouth? How did you get that first deal? And when was that?
My first deal was back in 2012. I was working a job at the time, making pretty good money. And I was reading a book by Dean Graziosi. I was very into Dean Graziosi stuff back in the day. I was part of the Success Academy and everything, so I can still go online and find my journals that I had from like 8-9 years ago. But I had signed up for the Academy program that he had, and so it got me a mentor that I would talk to every week. But because of my job, I couldn't talk to the mentor every week because it would be the same time every week. But I had a rotating shift at work, so it kind of sucked. But anyway, through my mentorship and the book I was reading, it told me to call around to local banks and see if they had any REO properties.
Okay.
So I did that, started calling, found one bank that had a couple. Ended up kept calling them back over a period of maybe a couple months, something like that. And then finally they dropped the price down to, they started at 20, then they were at 15. I went out to the bank and actually filled out an application to show them I was serious. And I rode with the vice president of the bank out to the property. There's a small community bank. And he told me like, hey, listen, we're trying to get rid of this property. It's a foreclosure, it's ugly. It's 2012, So it's like, we'll take $10,000 for it. And through this book that I read, I got back with him in like a couple weeks, and I ended up making 2 offers. One was an all cash offer of $7,000. And then the other was them financing me to purchase the property for $9,200. Okay. And they came back and took the cash offer, and so we got that very first house for $7,000 or $6,700.
And that was the bank that made the offer, that bought your offer?
Yeah. Well, yes, the bank accepted my offer.
Okay, the bank accepted your offer. Okay. So when it's REO, so that means real estate owned, right?
Correct.
So does that mean the foreclosure process has completely been finalized?
Correct.
So the bank actually owns the property.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
And,
So so the offer was actually, the money went to the bank.
correct.
From your offer. Gotcha. Wow. So can you still do that today? Do banks have properties laying around like that?
They do.
They do, but truthfully, I haven't even tried that method in a while. Like actually calling around the banks, because usually when I was doing that, the last few times I tried it, they'd be like, "Hey, well, we have an agent that we work through.
Yeah.
You can contact the agent." But
Mm-hmm.
I haven't actually, and I haven't done it enough to really give a good answer to that question. But I think it probably still happens. You just gotta have that right relationship, or call the right bank.
Yeah, that's so cool. And then from 2012, you did a lot of these, types of deals. You said subject to, right? Which means you take over the mortgage for the owner.
Correct.
And then what was the other type of deal that you do?
Contract for deed when we sell, like a land contract, same thing.
All right. Well, what's a land contract different than buying a house traditionally? How does that differ?
So we don't buy on a land contract, we sell on a land contract. So,
okay.
So when we sell the property, basically our buyer gives us a down payment, and then they'll just pay us monthly. There's a note created, and we're the bank. So that's the difference. So they don't get the deed right away. They'll get the deed once our contract is fulfilled. And it works. It's a great way for people to buy a property if they have some type of challenge going on, with credit or things like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's so cool. So cool. And then what's been going on since We Live? Because you said you talked to Max, you wanted to do some marketing, and I take it you use DealMachine to do that marketing. Right.
Yes. Yeah. Man, DealMachine. So I think we have like
300 properties.
It's like 300 properties in DealMachine.
Mm-hmm.
We've been, sending them out, and I've actually had, I think about 4 or 5 people that have called. Like I don't get a huge response. So my next goal is to print out the Excel sheet and actually skip trace so I can start calling these people. But from the postcards, we haven't got like a huge response. But yeah, we have gotten this one last deal we got. It was actually an accident. So once we go into details of it, it's a crazy story. But
okay, don't hold back. I want to hear it.
Okay. So I have a deal finder that he goes out and is actually my cousin. And he started deal finding, and he sent like 100 properties one day, then he sent 100 properties another day, like definitely a rock star. So, we went through, or my wife went through and approved the deals and, sent the postcards out. So got a call from this lady, and or text, I'm sorry. And she was like, hey, wanted to see if you wanted to buy my house, got your postcard. So, and we missed each other for about 2 or 3 days, like just, texting back and forth. I tried to go see her. We were about to take a vacation to New York and, just ran out of time. Mm-hmm. So when we got back, I contacted her, and he was like, hey, do you still have your house? Yeah, I still have it. Okay, great. Let's meet up on Friday, which was just Friday last week.
Oh, wow. Great.
So we go to the house, talk, my wife and I, and we had our kids with us too. So we go in, we look at the house, talk to the lady, and she's just completely motivated. She said she had been praying to God and asking for a solution for this for a while. She had the property on the MLS, was it earlier this year? Yeah, earlier this year.
All right.
She just had, some life situations going on. Her daughter had just passed, and she was going someplace else because she had to keep her grandkids and raise them, and she was retired, and just a whole bunch of just a distress situation. That's really what it was. So we made her the offer of subject to, and just taking over on her payments, not giving her any money because the way the deal was structured, the property's worth about $85,000, and her mortgage balance was $49,000, and we put about, I say 5 to 10 in it, and it's right there where it needs to be. So So we, just made the offer. Hey, look, we can just take over on your payments. When do you want to make the last payment? And, she was okay. She said she'll make August payment. And her problem was that if she did make August payment, and then if she gets approved at this other place she's moving to, she may not have the money to make the payment there. So, we were like, well, hey, that's not an issue. If that comes up, if you pay this mortgage payment and then need to pay that, we'll give you I think she said $600, $700. Yeah, we'll pay you the money that you need to make that first payment. And she was okay with that. So after that, we wrote up the contract and everything, walked out, and my wife and I were talking. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. So there was a house next to the house that we were actually at, meeting with the lady. And my wife, when she pulled up, because we were in separate cars, she pulled up and she parked in front of that house thinking that's the house that we were going to be looking at because it looks distressed.
Yeah.
It was distressed, vacant.
Right.
Yeah. It was
Ugly.
bad. So I pulled in front of that house.
Right.
Yeah.
So after we signed the contract and everything with the seller.
No, when I got out of the car, he was outside of his truck.
Right.
And I was like, he's like, the house is over here, which was next door. I was like, oh, okay.
All right.
So I'm thinking
Right.
of going to look at the distressed house, and I wasn't. So
Right. So after everything's over, we walk outside and, we're sitting there talking and everything. So I bring up the DealMachine app and, just do the geolocation where it brings up where we are. Because, you can see all your houses once that you have deals on. So I hit the link that has the picture of the house in front of us. And it's actually a picture of the house that's next door. But what happened?
And then it went to the wrong homeowner.
Yeah, because the address is on DealMachine for some reason. Because I tried to click the house next door and it wasn't that right address. So it's something, the DealMachine app that got the address that it should have been wasn't there.
Okay.
But it was for the house next door. So the postcard wasn't even supposed to go to her. The postcard actually didn't have a picture of her house on it. It had a picture of the house next door to her.
Yeah.
But it was addressed to her. So, it's just.
So she got it and called.
Yeah. Are you guys adding properties or is there somebody else driving for you?
We add some too.
Yeah, we add
You
some.
have both?
Yeah, we actually have, I think it's like 10 to 15 deal finders, but really it's
Like two?
Yeah, two or three that are really active.
That's awesome.
People that I've told, they can make some extra money and they may add one here or there, but my cousin's definitely been the rock star though.
That's awesome. Yeah. I've heard a lot of people think that you can press the blue dot to add a property. I don't know if this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you press the blue dot, it might give you any of the 4 properties nearby, You actually, it's set up so you tap the actual house. And again, I'm not saying this is what happened with you guys, but I wanted to mention it because oftentimes when somebody reports like the wrong address is coming up, oftentimes when we sit down with them, then we'll kind of figure out that they were using it in a different way than we had intended. And that's why the wrong address is popping up.
Right.
So so I don't know if that's what had happened, but I just thought I would mention that in case if somebody did have a misunderstanding. You actually do tap the property that you want to add. And the satellite view really helps too, because then you can see all the roof lines and easily identify which property you're looking at.
Yep. And I know for sure what happened because when I, we were standing in front of the house and I did bring up the map, how it does show the different properties. I clicked on the property that it was supposed to be, and it had the address of the house next door. But then when I clicked the property next door, it wasn't it's like it skipped over that address for some reason. It just wasn't on there. I don't know why it didn't populate.
I've definitely seen some weird things on like city maps and whatnot. And I'm so glad that you got a deal. That's pretty crazy sometimes how it can happen. I've had a couple, not actual deals, but a couple really good leads come that way myself.
Yep, those accidental leads, they're great.
That's right.
It's still a deal.
Yep. All right. So how do you and Tekela work together? I want to know that because you guys are a power couple. You got your own business. I want to know what's that dynamic like.
Okay. So we both quit our job and went full time in 2017. So we also do some rehabs. We have 2 rehabs going on right now, and really Tekela does a lot of the paperwork, and so my problem, I've kind of like kept this to myself, and I'm doing a better job at including my wife, because I'm the one that's always studied all the real estate stuff and, you know, went to seminars, and it's always been my dream. And, you know, I had been trying to make it her dream for years. And I think finally we went to a real estate seminar earlier this year. It was at REI Black Book. And, you know, I think being there helped a lot, because I went to We Live and I didn't go. I went by myself. But when I came back, I was so excited, you know, because it was the first time I'd been around that many wholesalers and people in real estate that are really doing things. So I came back and was excited and was telling her. And then once we went to REI Black Book and she went also, and just hearing that same information, we're both there, you know, I think it really helped a lot for both of us to get more motivated. And then even how at REI Black Book, they talked about traction and figuring out, you know, what's your role? Like, you know, that's one of the biggest things. And we're still working on getting that together and getting through traction so we can get a good understanding. But to answer your question, I do a lot of the, you know, like making sure projects are getting done right and talking with the contractors and things like that. And she'll do a lot of the paperwork and, you know, the DealMachine, sending out the properties and approving, disapproving, things like that. Think of. And
I tell him what to do.
Yeah, she does. I'm a very soft-hearted person. You know, I definitely am. I've probably had way too many people screw me over, and my wife is not soft-hearted. No, she's just more stern than I am. Which, you know, you definitely need that balance.
Yeah.
So I'm like I said, I'm doing a better job at listening to her and doing those things that, I'm not gonna lie, they're uncomfortable for me because that's not my natural makeup. But, you know, I'm adjusting and seeing how it definitely helps, because it's business. You know, you have to be stern. You have to do business.
What's an example? Is it like offering like a lower offer than you feel comfortable with? What's an example of how that might come into play?
No, you give an example.
Well, sometimes maybe it is the deal that he's making, because, you know, we discuss it, but they're talking to him, so they don't even know that, you know, I exist sometimes, or, you know, but he'll make an offer, or the creative financing, just, you know, what is to be done with the property. And I'm like, oh, no, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're going back and forth and things like that. I don't know, maybe something with the contractors. I'm like, well, yeah, that's not right. So he's like, well, yeah, I guess I kind of knew that.
Yeah, it's stuff that I'll let slide, you know, and then I'll tell her about it. Be like, no, see, you should have da. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Well, see, well, okay, if you want this business to grow, then this is what you have to do. You have to run it like a big multi-million-dollar business. You know, you can't do little stuff that letting stuff slide and all that, because you're never going to grow.
That's right. Yeah, I think that's super smart. And like systems in place also help you scale a lot too.
Yep.
I think there's a like a shift when somebody's done a certain number of deals, and then in order to push further, they've really got to kind of like work on the business, you know, in terms of like putting in a system for how you evaluate a deal, for example.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Man, Brandon and Tekela, it was a pleasure getting to meet with you guys. I'm super glad that you guys signed up to do this call with me, and it's one of my favorite parts of the job.
Right. I can imagine it's getting to hear success stories and how people are doing what they're doing and who they are. And that's
right. Absolutely. And does your company have a name?
Yes. It's Transon Relations Investment Group.
Okay. And remind me again, where are you based out of?
Kansas City.
Oh, great. I'm from Missouri. Are you on the Missouri side?
Are you? Okay.
We're on
Didn't know
Kansas
that.
side.
Yeah, I'm from St. Louis. Okay.
Did not know.
But yeah, I got a lot of friends. I went to this school called University of Missouri at Rolla. Now they call it Missouri S&T. So a lot of my friends from college are from Kansas City because they came from both sides of the state.
Gotcha.
That's cool. That's where I used to work, at the Kansas City campus, though.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Small world out there, guys.
So
Glad you guys are doing big things.
Yeah.
Josh, you and Josh went to college together, right?
We actually went to elementary school.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we also went to high school together, but Josh went to Mizzou for college.
Right. He did say
Yeah.
that. Yep. Okay. And
Yeah.
now you guys are back together, changing people's lives. That's cool.
We're back together. It's a lot of fun to work with friends.
Right.
I would imagine it'd be a lot of fun to work with your husband or wife.
Right. Yeah.
It's not bad like people think.
Right.
We're together almost every day.
Yep.
We don't get on each other's nerves, really.
Man,
Right.
that's so awesome.
Now we used to, like, I'm like I said, I'm doing a much better job, and actually I think with me it was more of like an ego,
Yeah.
Pride
Okay.
thing. You want to be like, hey, this was my idea, or, I'm doing this.
Yeah,
you don't wanna
that's
be
easy
like-
to do.
Yeah, it is. So, I'm doing a much better job at listening, taking advice, and getting out of my own way, and realizing that, what she has does help the business, and it can take it to that next level to where
It doesn't have to be your idea to be
Exactly.
good.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just turned 30 last week.
Oh, congrats,
Oh, nice.
young man.
Oh, but I feel like as I'm getting older, I'm more comfortable with not having credit, and
Right.
I think that's good.
Right.
It feels good for me.
Mhm.
Right. It is. It's a lot of growth comes from that. It really
Yeah. Well, also a lot of better ideas come from that, I think.
Right.
People feel more comfortable sharing their ideas because they know it's not going to get, stolen, and
Right.
it's been awesome. I feel like I changed a lot throughout my 20s, so
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
spending a little time reflecting after I had my birthday
Yeah.
on some differences that I
Yeah.
noticed about myself.
Right. That's cool. Well, happy belated birthday.
Yes.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate it. And I want to send you guys some DealMachine hats. And not only hats, but we've got like a whole swag store. So I'll send you guys a code and you can pick out some stuff and you can ship it to yourself get it for free.
Okay.
And we want to celebrate with you. And we're super pumped that you guys did a deal. We want you to do some more deals.
Definitely.
And thanks again for just believing in us and incorporating DealMachine in your business. That means the world to us. And this is the best part of the job right here.
Yes. Hey, well, thank you for creating DealMachine. And I was actually just listening to the podcast the other day with you and Max, and how you were saying how it was created out of necessity of you, trying to not following up. That was the issue.
It was. Yep.
Get a better system. So yeah, thank you for having that problem and then figuring out a way to solve it, and having the knowledge to code and all that stuff and get it to where it is now, because it is a pretty cool app. It really is.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Thank you guys. Glad you're enjoying it.
Yep. Thank you.
Let's get you some more deals.
All right, let's get it.
We
Well,
want 'em.
and we'll let you know when we get them too.
Sounds good. All right. See you, Brandon. See you, Tekela.
All right.
you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Dave. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Bye.